You cannot think of democracy without holding elections. Elections at different levels, elections for the parliament, elections for state assemblies, and elections for the grassroots democratic institutions like panchayats and urban local bodies. In Jammu and Kashmir, the term of urban local bodies, 5-year long term, is coming to an end. For Srinagar Municipal Corporation, it is coming to an end in next 2 days. So the elected Srinagar Municipal Corporation will cease to exist on Monday, and elected Municipal Corporation of Jammu will cease to exist on 14th of this month. But there are no fresh elections in sight. So why is democracy on hold at the grassroots level? And also for panchayats, their term will come to an end, 5-year long term, on 9th of January. So within 2 months, the grassroots institutions, democratic institutions which were functioning for last 5 years without an elected government, state elected government in Jammu and Kashmir, will also disappear. So why fresh elections are not held? There are different versions. From the government side, a delimitation needs to be done, and also giving reservations to OBCs also need to be factored in for urban local bodies and panchayats. These institutions, which were actually constituted in November and December 2018, several months before the abrogation of Article 370 and J&K was transformed into a union territory in August 2019. There was not much participation that time because of the boycott by the mainstream politics. That was very, very unusual because that time the whole politics was going on. Supreme Court was hearing the case of Article 35A, which was giving certain special privilege on land and jobs to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So they boycotted those elections. So other people came and they filled the gap. And that now the term of these institutions, panchayat and urban local bodies, is coming to an end. So the lost contact between the people and the union territory administration or the center is also disappearing. Because in absence of the elected government, there is no contact essentially between the people and the government, and you can't actually think of a government which is not elected in a functional democracy. But in Jammu and Kashmir, last assembly elections were held in 2014. In 2018, PDP-BJP government that collapsed after BJP withdrew its support. Eventually, governor dissolved this J&K assembly, and then the rest is the history. What happened in 2019 about abrogation of 370, reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir state, and the government would always talk about, look, we are strengthening the grassroots democracy, giving power to the people at the grassroots, and not just the 87 members in the assembly, erstwhile assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, those privileged ones. So even that claim, giving grassroots democracy, is also disappearing. So there were, around 35,000, these Panchs elected across Jammu and Kashmir. There were 4,490 panchayats in Jammu and Kashmir. There are 78 urban local bodies, 2 municipal corporations, one in Srinagar and one in Jammu, 19 municipal councils, 57 municipal committees. So all will cease to exist as their term is coming to an end. So this is a challenge that when Article 370 was seen or projected as a stumbling block in so many things, but after it has gone, democracy appears to be, going away from the day-to-day lives of the people. And democracy is not just about electing a government, it's also creating a social structure, legitimate social structure at village level, at mohalla level, at tahsil level, at state level, at the country level. So which is creating cohesion within the society. And in absence of a democracy, a social structure, then horrible things happen. Other players, non-democratic players, they try to fill the gap. So democracy in Jammu and Kashmir is also, you have to understand in a different way, because it's not like in other parts of the country. After eruption of militancy in 1990, the first target of militancy was to dismantle democratic institutions. And thousands of people actually have given their lives, sacrifices for the democracy, for the right to vote. In August, before August 5, on the 5th, this anniversary of abrogation of 370, I met a person, Muhammad Siddiq Wani, in a village in Kupara. His 3 sons were killed by militants for his fault that he stood for democracy. He was a local leader of a national conference, block president. And he challenged the writ of militants in that area and stood for democracy, and the price he had to pay, his 3 sons were killed. So a number of thousands of mainstream political workers who were killed just because they believed in democracy and they believed in the right to vote. So it is a hard-earned thing for the people of Kashmir who gave their lives for democracy. It may be a routine thing for other parts of the country where elections are being routinely held at a time. But here, people have given their lives for the democracy, for the right to vote. But over the last, that was militant because they don't want democratic institutions to survive in Jammu and Kashmir. That's why their first target were elected representatives. Those who believed in mainstream politics, those who believed in the constitution, those who believed in functional democracy, they all were targeted. So now, after almost decimation of militancy from most parts of the country, this Jammu and Kashmir, people wonder why democracy is actually in a suspended animation in Jammu and Kashmir. If abrogation of 370 was giving equal rights to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, why elections for the assembly are not held? And now the last bastion of the democratic space, which is the panchayat and the local urban local bodies, are also disappearing. Clearly, democracy has been put on hold in Kashmir, where people have suffered a great deal for the right to vote and having an elected government.